The first question I have here is, can you just tell everyone a bit more about yourself and how did CheetArts came about?
So I'm a digital illustrator. I do traditional too, but the main thing for CheetArts is digital illustrations. So mainly character illustrations. I came up with this name around 2014. So it's basically just my name, Chee Ta, and arts. So it makes CheetArts lah. And then there's the art word there. So, I decided to make that my main mascot. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It works in a lot of ways. CheetArts, as in the verb arts. I'm doing art. Or it could be the noun arts, like the many arts of my, my many arts.
Yep.
Yeah, because art has always been my passion. I've been drawing since young, throughout the years, in school, in my textbooks, test papers, all that lah. And I've been doing art sporadically throughout the years. It's just that during 2018 is when I really started becoming more consistent in doing art. So that was during October. The artist Art Germ, Stanley Lau, he's from Singapore. He had this challenge every October. It's an Inktober challenge, actually. I'm not sure if you heard of it.
It sounds like a tattoo thing.
Well, the idea is that for the whole month of October, every day you will make a drawing.
Didn't you just do something like this?
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but the original idea is to do on with pen and paper. That's why it's called Inktober.
Okay.
So but apparently there's some drama or like controversy, the usual going on, and then like people don't really want to do Inktober anymore. Everybody just started coming up with their own
version.
Inktober stuff. With their own version. Yeah. So what I did in 2018 was Art Germ's version, which is called Artrober. So I did the whole stretch for 31 days. So that actually made me consistent in drawing afterwards. Yeah.
Damn.
Because I made CheetArts in 2014 lah, but was very inconsistent, lots of things going on in life and just not very disciplined in, doing art. So it's after this 2018 challenge that, I start to do art almost every day. So I'm glad I participated lah, and it instilled like a habit in me. Then I start to improve gradually, yeah.
Okay, amazing.
Even though I did art my whole life, like I drew my whole life, but I never stuck to it so consistently to improve, yeah.
Oh wow, you wouldn't have thought it looking at your work that you didn't stick to it. I always assume you just drew forever.
Oh no, I mean I did, but it wasn't like disciplined. You know how it is.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because 2018 is not that long ago.
Yeah. So sometimes I feel bad that I'm not good enough, but I just realized that I just started focusing.
Yeah. Also, you're crazy. You're definitely good enough.
I
mean, keep at it lah for sure. I mean, you can only go up, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think the first time we genuinely had an interaction was on Discord, right? I was doing DBK.
Oh yeah. I joined your Discord.
Yeah, you mentioned how the different ways to interpret cheat and arts
name,
right? Okay, don't be mad, but I'm just gonna tell you what I thought when I saw your name.
Oh, sure, please do.
So I was actually really scared because, oh my god, it's cheat, It's like cheating. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was thinking, is this guy like so like brave that he put like maybe he's a scammer and he put his name CheetArts?
I see.
So I actually was really freaked out. So I actually checked your Instagram and stuff, and then I saw that we actually had a mutual friend, which is Chungsan lah, basically.
Okay,
and then I immediately texted Chungsan and asked, "Hey, do you know this guy CheetArts?" Because I actually freaked out. I was thinking, oh no, like he seems like a nice dude. Because you were asking about the character sheets.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh no, is this guy like some sort of scammer? To steal everything? I don't know. So I freaked out, and then I called Chungsan, and then like I found out, oh okay, no. It's a legit artist.
Okay.
I'm his friend. So yeah, that's my impression lah. But I don't know why. It's not like it's spelled cheat, CHEAT.
I know.
But now that I know that it's your name, it's actually really clever. Yeah,
I can understand that because scammer always have spelling mistake also. So I think it makes sense that your mind goes there. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't bring that up to make you feel bad. But to be fair, at the same time, I think around that time was when I was experiencing the Instagram spam stuff I was telling you about.
Right.
So it was kind of like, it was consistent with that theme lah, I guess.
True. Yeah, Instagram has a lot, man. They're notorious. DM for like.
Yeah. Can you see this number in this weird colorblind test? Yeah, things like that.
Yeah, speaking of colorblind, I'm colorblind.
What? Holy crap!
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Wait. We gotta talk about that then. So
no, but I don't want to make it a thing, you know. I
No, fair
believe that
enough, fair
the
enough.
quality of the end result of your art, this is what matters, you know, not.
Okay, hey, I agree with you, but at the same time, I think it's important to talk about that because people might think that, oh, I'm colorblind, therefore I cannot draw, even though it's kind of what they want to do.
True.
So I was actually hoping,
Yes.
would you like to talk a bit about that? What kind of challenges do you face
Yeah, for sure.
as a
for sure.
colorblind like person who's doing art? Like, does it actually make the process all the more different or difficult?
Okay, I'll start with a little story from when I was in kindergarten.
Oh, sure, this is great. Okay, yep, I'm buckling up.
No, it's a short story. Yeah, I
Okay.
colored. We had coloring in class using crayon, so I colored the water purple, and my friends just picked on me for it. But yeah,
Okay, wait. Before you continue, what kind of colorblind causes that? Like, what do you see purple as?
it's more like I confuse it as blue instead of seeing it with another color. Yeah. I'm not sure how if you have spoken to colorblind people before, or like my experience is similar to other colorblind people. It's more like I get confused, like face blindness. Like you sometimes some people look the same and then you're not sure who's who. I guess that's what's my experience with color blindness. So I did some tests and apparently I'm red-green colorblind. So I'm not sure why sometimes I confuse blue with purple as well. But I think over time you kind of train yourself to recognize colors. And the thing about digital art is that the color palette is the same. You know where each color is in the color wheel, so
That's
you won't get
cool.
confused as much. Yeah, as opposed to maybe if I were to use like actual paint or watercolor, I wouldn't. I have a mixed color, and I do some watercolor, so I always have to keep the packaging of the watercolor palette. They specify what color it is, so I keep it so I can reference it. Yeah. I don't think my colorblindness is that serious. That's why I could still, yeah. But also to the colorblind people out there, don't let it discourage you, lah. Because art is not just about color. The color is just one aspect of it, and who knows, your colorblindness might make you, use a very unique color combination.
That's cool.
And it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, damn, man. That's pretty interesting stuff. I totally take the color palette for granted, the one in the digital art, because I would just see, okay, that's the color. But like, yeah, it's interesting now that you mention it. So the colors are actually always in the same orientation. So as long as, like, for example, you said purple and blue, right? So as long as you know where purple and blue usually are, because you practice a lot, you don't have to worry that much.
Yeah, true. Another experience of a colorblind artist is that when I draw characters, right, from shows or like cartoons, I always have to go to their wiki page to double check their eye color.
Oh, gosh.
Just to be sure.
That is so interesting. Holy crap. That is like,
because sometimes you see their like how they're depicted and they're in different lighting, so it tends to be a different color, so you cannot just color pick from the pictures. So I visit a lot of wiki pages to check the characteristics, physical characteristics.
It's thorough researching, right? I mean, that's always a good thing. So I just wanted to ask you about your drawing process, right? So you mentioned just now that you started properly in 2014, became consistent 18 onwards, right? So when you started in 14, presumably you used reference books and online resources to kind of help you, right? Do you notice any changes in the process? Because now that you're more adept, like you said, you're more consistent, right? Does that mean you use less references? And how long did it take you to get there? That's the question.
Oh, no. Okay, I'll talk about the reference thing first. So I'm sure most artists would have heard of this advice already. So which is to always use reference. Don't be afraid to use reference because we cannot possibly remember how everything looks like. And even now I use a lot of references because what we create, right, is always based on reality. So unless you have something so special that only exists in your head, most things you draw are based on some form of reality, even fantastical things, right? It's like how the dragon is a mixture of different animals, right? I guess it depends on how familiar you are with the subject that you're drawing. When you talk about referencing, what do you think is being referenced?
Okay, funny you asked me that because I also have two different visions of what references are. So my idea was, when I think about reference book when I wrote this question, because my brother used to have this how to draw manga books. And it's just all these poses, right? These like reference poses. Yeah, that's what I had in mind. But as someone who's also trying to draw on Chee Ta, reference in my head now means basically photos of real people or the things that you actually want to draw. So you use that as a reference to get like the clothing, the body structure, and things like that. So those are the things I imagine.
Yeah, I think those will always be useful, even experienced artists. And then now the resources are so abundant, on the internet. There are lots of poser apps where you can get to pose your own mannequins. Actually, Clip Studio Paint, the software that I use to draw, they also have their own 3D models that you can use as reference for your drawings. I think a lot of veteran artists also, they just straight away trace their reference, the 3D models, to make their process much faster. So yeah, we will always need references. In terms of improvement, I wouldn't count on, using less reference as a gauge to
improvement.
Yeah. Also, you asked about how my process have changed.
You still use the references and things to draw, right? So I think I'll rephrase that question. It's not about how the process changed, but how about just walk us through a process of when you draw one of your art pieces on Instagram, for example? How does that process go?
Usually it's a sketch and then refining the sketch. Some people, they do a sketch and then they draw another layer above it, which is a proper line art.
Yep.
Which is very clean lah. But I don't do that. I just clean up the sketch because, nobody got time for that. And then do flats, which means just the color of all the objects in your drawing. And then I do rendering, which is adding shadows and lighting and then finishing up. Yeah, but I don't always do it that way. Sometimes I get lazy. I just paint on one layer. Straight away, I do the rendering.
Isn't that dangerous?
It depends on your mood. But that's the thing with digital art. It's harder to adjust things, right? Because usually I do things in different layers as well. So I can easily edit each components. But there is also a benefit in doing everything in one layer because you can just... do you know the liquify tool?
Yes.
So I can just liquefy everything. So if I want the hips to be smaller or bigger, I can just liquefy the whole thing. I don't have to select this area and select these few layers.
Actually, that makes sense. Because yes, you have to change every layer.
Yeah, when I'm feeling lazy, I do. But there's a sense of efficiency when you do in different layers. We name them. It's easier if you need to go back and do some small alterations. Like if it's one layer, usually you're lazy to change it. Let's just move on. Yeah,
that's really insightful. I always assume that people will do the proper protocol of everything is a layer. And also, some people draw a sketch and then they draw a clean line layer, right? So my understanding is actually opposite of what you said. You said sometimes you're lazy, so you don't do the clean line layer. I always assume, wouldn't it be easier to just draw the clean line layer instead of actually having to rub off the sketch and draw the clean line on there as well?
It depends on preference, I would say, because I'm essentially drawing it twice. And also, because there's this idea of you're drawing on a new layer and it has to be clean. So you tend to be more, how would you put it? More anal about it. You want it to be clean. You want if it's the sketch, the idea is already there, the look is already there, the feel is already there. You just need to clean up some stuff. And I think having some sketchiness, roughness intact, it adds to the final drawing.
I agree to that. Yep.
I think it makes it more human, yeah.
In a way, it's more similar to drawing on actual paper, right? Because that's what you do in real paper. You have to rub off the support lines and put your clean line.
Yeah, I guess no. Because on paper you can draw with pencil and then you can draw using a pen. You ink the lines using a pen and then you rub with the pencil. Yeah. But then again, this kind of thing, I think the end result is what matters. How you reach it, I think everybody, what works best for you. Yeah, what you enjoy most actually. Yeah.
Because if you do all these skills and you don't love it, then there's no point anyways, right?
Yeah, exactly. I see a lot of artists fall into the trap of just focusing too much about the process or using this method, that method, and then being burnt out or feeling bad about their art. Yeah, so I think the most important thing is you enjoy doing it and you like what you're producing. Yeah.
Damn, that's deep.
Because if you don't like it, nobody will like it.
Yeah, exactly. This advice and this problem actually transcends field because people say the same thing about video games as well.
Yeah, for sure.
People always think about, will people play it or things like that, right? That they don't actually enjoy making it anymore. and that's actually just a good way to stop your journey straight away.
Yeah, because if you try to quantify it too much, or like you try to make it about theories and all that, I think it's lacking the human aspect. Just do what works for you, and like don't be too dogmatic about like I have to do it this way, or this is the only real way to do art or whatever. Yeah.
Everyone's journey is a mountain, and everyone's on a different part of the mountain. So just use whatever you need to get to where you're at.
Yeah, and some people are on different mountains, so it is what it is.
Exactly. Yep. So, what will you be doing at HobbyFest, and what do you hope to learn from the event?
Talking. What I enjoy about these conventions is being able to talk with customers. Because I find, the first time that I joined an event at Mobile High, like I realized I'm not like phoning it in, so to speak, like how you do like your university presentations. When I'm talking to my friends, I'm talking to customers, I know what I'm talking about. This is my thing. I know how to talk shop. Yeah. I don't just pretend I know what I'm talking about. So I realized I really enjoy interacting with people about art and seeing what they like and stuff like that. Yeah. And what I hope to get, honestly, like I said, all the connections, all the networking, getting to know new people, hopefully getting to know more people from the gaming industry, the game development industry, which
and
is great.
People as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's mostly social for me, even though I'm an introvert, but I try.
I want to ask you a weird personal question. Are we in the same boat? We're only learning how important it is
to
trying to develop it.
Yeah, that's the introvert mindset, right? Yeah, I get you, man. Like, you feel like, if I'm good enough, people, that's, people
yeah, exactly.
know.
That's the exact thought I had as well.
Yeah. So, it's a good reminder for artists out there, local artists especially, Bruneian artists like Bruneian who are very reserved, right? Usually we're shy. Yeah, your work won't speak for itself.
Yeah,
you have to talk to people.
That's good advice.
And you cannot just
like you cannot just be the best
reserved and arrogant and like exactly. No one gives a shit. They want a nice person to work with. That's important.
Yeah,
you can be mediocre, but if you're a great person to work with, people will hire you.
That's great advice. Yeah. So that's the thing I wanted to elaborate on, because yes, I think we're in the same boat in that sense, because we were both introverted, and then we kind of we had that thought that okay, as long as I do the best work, I don't have to talk to anyone because people will naturally talk to me later. And then later you realize, oh wait a minute, no, all of this is responsibility too. Getting people to understand who you are and why they should work with you is actually your responsibility as well.
Exactly.
Which is linked to the social side. Yeah, for sure.
There's still time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's never too late.
Yeah,
and as long as we're willing to learn, I think it will definitely work out. Like, I mean, hey, look, this whole thing is basically that.
For sure.
HobbyFest, the collaboration between Kahoot's booth, is basically that for me. I'm trying to put that stuff into action.
Yeah, I'm glad there's someone that's like kind of in the same boat, exploring this huge ocean.
Learn together at the same time.
It's good. Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. That's the 3 questions. Now on to what I call the fun questions. So for your case here, I actually have 2. I'll just go through over them very generally at first, and then we'll go through them one by one detail. Okay.
Sure.
The first question I had is, I think when we met at Marble High, right? I remember asking you about the merch you were selling, but it wasn't just your merch, everyone's merch in that area. What I realized is everyone, with exception of maybe 1 or 2, they were kind of selling like other IPs, like Genshin Impact, or like Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were talking about OCs, right?
Yeah.
Yes, so that's the theme of the first question. I'll ask you it later. Okay, the second question was what you mentioned in our WhatsApp group for HobbyFest. So you mentioned, does anyone want to make a gacha game? And then you were saying you thought about making a hack and slash. Okay, so these are the 2 fun questions I want to ask you. But anyways, just to give you an idea where we're going. Okay,
right, sure,
now let me zoom back in onto the first question.
Yes.
Which is the OC question. Okay. Now, I'm not an artist. I'm more like a generalist who does a bit of art. But I have a rough idea of what an OC means. But I kind of want to get your opinion. What is an OC to you? I would like to think that all artists wants to make an OC eventually.
Yeah.
So my question is, do you have any plans, and how does that go, if you don't mind sharing? What's your plan to drawing your own OC?
Oh yeah. My understanding of OC, actually, I don't know the history of that term, but I think it could be original creation or original character, which I think means the same thing. But yeah, I think all artists have their own OCs. Some just choose to share it, some don't. I have some plans, including the hack and slash game, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, we'll talk about later.
For now, what I have is I want to create a comic, a manga, if you will. That's in the future. I have a few manga ideas actually, and a few characters. I'm not sure if you want me to elaborate on, but we'll talk about that later.
Hey man, we will do everything in our power to make sure it happens.
I do have some OCs that are super casual. I use them to depict maybe Chinese New Year, or like different places or like events. But I have plans for them as in like virtual influencer. So maybe if there's any restaurants or brands in Brunei that they want to advertise, I can have my OC, be at their restaurant, like in the form of an artwork lah. I can draw their restaurant and my OC is doing, promoting their products and all that. And I'm out of that, but I haven't really went into it. So one of my plan is to create a Brunei specific account. So maybe like CheetArts.bn. So where I only post drawings of local places. So I have some drawings. I once drew an OC in the Bruneian cafe. Also, I drew another OC in the Gelatiamo, having the high tea. And then this is one where it's just the... do you know Communist or Unitech? Do you know Gelatiamo?
That's an ice cream place?
Yeah. So random places, and there's another one that I did in there's a path below Kaizen waterfront at the Bandar. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So random things like that, things that are not super obvious, but when people see it, and they will say, "Hey, I know that place. That's super familiar." Yeah.
Or maybe even make them go there or check it out.
Yeah, exactly. So with those batch of OC, I plan to do something like that. So very familiar, very cozy vibe, I'm actually, there's a work in progress, something that I've been doing that I haven't put out. It's at the riverside. Do you know Delilah, the crocodile?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. It's in the works, but I haven't gotten to.
You're drawing a Delilah.
My OC is reacting it to Delilah, because that's what people usually do, right? When they are at the riverside.
Nice.
I want to try to capture the feelings, the feelings that we all share in Brunei, the things that we do. Yeah. But not super impactful or super extraordinary. It's just everyday things that you see.
It's just fun.
Yeah. It just stands out to you, because that's what you experience as well. So yeah, that's one aspect of it. And then the manga thing, I have a few short stories that I want to explore, and which ultimately will give me enough experience to make a longer story. Yeah. And
okay, that's interesting. I didn't know you were writing stories as well.
Oh yeah, I mean. I guess planning would be the more correct word lah.
But hey, you have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, true. But I'm so busy drawing. I don't spend much time writing. Sometimes
I can relate. Yeah.
It's just sometimes when the impulse comes and I open up the Google Sheet and I type things in. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of creative impulses. I'm sure you feel it too. Sometimes you see something and then you get inspired to do something similar.
Yes, exactly.
It's difficult to find the time or the allocation to do it.
Yeah, the balance.
Yeah, but I think it's also important. I should take my own advice. It's important to just, do it, to just go for it. Because right now, there's this sense where I have to practice first. I have to do enough first. I have to, you get
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, so, hopefully some things that I talk about comes into fruition.
Yeah, for sure. In a way, right, this Hobby Fest is also kind of our own way of doing accountability buddy.
Oh, yeah.
In a way, by collaborating, basically what you're doing is you're having an accountability group.
True.
So in that sense, not to mention we're actually putting these interviews out in public as well. So now everyone's heard you say you want to do it, so you better do it.
No.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm just kidding. I mean, no pressure, obviously.
No, I want to do it.
Yeah, and also it's not a coincidence, the interviews I did with Wilson and Takoyaki and even Rapid Bump, Funny enough, I didn't design these questions to funnel into one answer only. But even though everyone gave different answers, all the answers kind of funnel into the same answer, which is what you just said as well. It's more about just start. Just start. Because even if you fail or make mistakes, you have to go through that no matter what.
Yeah, you have to do it. Yeah, the only way to discover things is to actually be on the ground. Yeah, and that's another thing, aside from social skills, is the work ethic that, everybody could benefit from.
And not to harp too much on HobbyFest, even though this is a HobbyFest content. Well, not to harp too much on HobbyFest, but technically HobbyFest...
It's good. Remind them, come to HobbyFest.
So technically the whole event, Kahoot's booth at HobbyFest, right? Even this is actually us manifesting the things that we say. So this is us trying something new. We don't know how it's going to go. It might all fail, but we're going to learn a lot no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's basically what we're saying.
This is my first time doing games, exactly. Because all of you have something to do with games, right? I feel like I need to do something, as my first step into, being involved with games. So I think, that's why I insisted on doing the sprites for the Whack-A-Mole
Thank you, which I super appreciate, by the way.
No problem. It's my pleasure, yeah.
But what I will say is that, did you find it that much different from drawing your normal art?
Oh yeah, for sure, because it's more animation based, which I've done before, for fun.
Okay, I understand animation is different, like it's frame by frame, but the base art itself, right? Was it that much different from the normal arts that you usually draw?
Oh yeah, of course not. It's just the style that's different. It's more cartoon. Yeah.
Because that's kind of the thing that I was hoping to highlight also. And also you did notice that it's actually not that far of a leap, right? Basically, if you were to be a game artist, it's not like you have to change everything if you were just an artist before, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, of course. It's super transferable.
Exactly. And more importantly to me, at least, in terms of me trying to get everyone to meet the things that they actually want to learn and gain, part of that is I actually want people to understand that, let's say in your case, right, the way you draw, the things you want to learn about artistry and the things that you're doing and learning, is actually not different at all to if you drew for video games, because it's still the same kind of art, the same kind of things that you learn and things you have to adapt. So at least that's what I hope people are getting, basically, when they hear this and also when they hear your account. So, yeah. So that was the OC, right? We kind of stemmed to that discussion based on me asking you what is your definition of OC and what are your plans, which is basically the manga and the Brunei locations and your OCs doing stuff there to capture the real reactions. Okay, so cool. That's question 1. Now, shall we move on to question 2? You brought up making a gacha game and also your interest in making a hack and slash. Do you want to talk a bit more about that?
Sure. I mean, the gacha game thing was a half joke because you know how lucrative gacha games are, right?
I have a love-hate relationship with them.
I'm sure everybody who have experienced gacha games.
Exactly. It's so addictive, yeah.
I know, it's such a time sink, but it's just too easy to pick up.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
When you reflect, it's like a treadmill going nowhere.
It's just chasing numbers, which don't matter at the end of the day. But I mean, when you look at things, when you try to simplify things, that's most of life, isn't it? As long as we enjoy it,
but the problem...
enjoy it along the way.
Yeah, but the problem is gachas don't really have, for better or worse, consequences, but life does. And that's why most people end up coming back out.
Alright. Yeah. Wow, man. I think gacha games are one of the most well-evolved things, man. Like the final form of sound evolution to capture our attention and money. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, but I would like to wait for an evolution that's all light, which is probably impossible, but still.
Because it's just too lucrative to stop, I don't think. And the way they make it interesting enough, but they manage to drag the time, that's genius.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Can you do the same hook of interest, but without the CD gacha parts?
No, I don't think that's possible.
How about The Witcher 3 or Final Fantasy 16?
True, but those things pass. You finish them and then you had a good time and you're done. Gacha game just keeps you on the leash.
Yeah, you're right.
I do enjoy single player games a lot, especially from software, Souls game.
Oh god, yep.
They just put you right in the game, man. Just hand you the wheels and play the game.
And yet somehow still has a good story at the same time.
Exactly. For a lot of gacha games, you start off this story, let's talk about this. let me show you the building section. This is the other upgrade section. This is the challenge tower. It's like, let me play the game. You know, unleash me into your game. Don't stop railroading me. So back to the half-joking idea of a gacha game.
Yes.
I've thought of making a Bruneian themed gacha inspired by Brunei folklore. All the characters can be a variation of, you know, not just Bruneian, maybe Southeast Asian throughout the region.
Yep.
That's the thing. There's not much media that portrays them, right?
Yes.
If there's a Marvel version of Bruneian folklore, we'll know all about it. So yeah, that's the idea lah. Do you know Fate Grand Order?
Yes, I do. Like they did that with Lancelot and all the European stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking we could do the same with Southeast Asian folklores lah. You know, as usual, that's just a silly idea.
Hey man, it's something to pursue if we ever have time or like the drive or like what's the word I'm looking for? If the conditions are correct, we should definitely try to see what we can do.
Yeah. This seed is out there. Yeah.
So the hack and slash, yeah. Just ignore everything of like perfect conditions, people and everything, but just what did it look like?
Yeah. It's a 2D game. I'm inspired by Souls, so it will be challenging and more purely gameplay, I guess. Usually hack and slash 2D games, they will have platforming, right? But this one is more on just the hack and slash. And it's more of a tempo game, but I wouldn't call it like a rhythm game or like related to music. It's more like bullet hell games, but it's more of... sorry, I don't have a one sentence pitch for this game. I'm inspired by this game where it's on Telegram. It's called Kung Fu or something, where you're a guy who fights vacuum cleaners for some reason. And I find it very enjoyable. There are some vacuum cleaner. There are 3 levels of enemy. The first one takes 1 hit to kill. Second one takes 2 hit to kill. And the third one takes 3 hit, okay, naturally. And
I think
they'll come from... Do you remember that?
I think I played something similar to that.
Yeah, I think it's the same game. So I find it very flow-inducing. Like, I have to keep track of what enemies are on the screen. Okay, how many times I have to attack each one. And then left, right, like, which direction do I go first? How do I manage the order of attacking the enemies? The extra layer I'm putting for this idea is a 6 direction. So upper left, middle left, lower left. So basically, 3 each side, and then there's some text. So if the character spins around, you like attack right, left, right. It's faster than attacking right and right. You get what I mean? Because the character has a momentum from spinning.
That does make sense. So it's kind of like rotating based on the direction.
Yeah, rotating and makes it faster, but won't be explained. Let players discover it and have all sorts of hidden text.
Okay, and that's where the souls comes in.
Yeah, it's a very simple idea, but I just find that I would enjoy playing it. Yeah, I think that's the focus for me. Yeah.
All right, that is interesting. Yeah. So this is just an idea. You haven't really like...
Yeah. It is in one Google Sheet file, I think.
Oh, yeah, your ideas that you've written down.
This particular one. I'm very interested in making this happen, so yeah.
Well, hey, we'll definitely talk more at the event itself, because we'll be there from 9 to 9.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's easier to expand, elaborate on.
Exactly. I mean, it's also a good opportunity to talk to the people who are actually developing as well. So yeah, I hope we'll have like good discussions on that. Yeah. So when did you have this idea?
Quite early, I guess 2015 also. It's one of the nights where I can't sleep and then it's just popped into my mind. There's also this other game that I cannot find anymore. It's a simple flash game on a browser where you are a ninja and you have to deflect shurikens that come from different directions from the screen. Okay? But that's the thing. It's not a set direction or position. So you have a few moves that you can do to deflect, but they don't specify like you do this move, you will deflect definitely shurikens that come from the top right. It depends on the position. Like you have to actually, be aware spatially. Yeah, it's such a simple game, but I find it quite...
There's a lot of depth that it's easy to miss.
Yeah, a lot of depth. Yes. Easy to get in gameplay, but a lot of depth. Yeah, that's what I wanted to make.
Yeah. Easy to play, difficult to master.
Yeah. And like you get into a flow state. I think that is... I don't think a lot of games have that. Yeah, no.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It feels like you're just a wanderer.
I like games that do that.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. You're living the story. Yeah, you're experiencing it. Yeah. That's what I enjoy about games.
Same. I kind of like how you can easily just jump in because you do feel like you're just a wanderer, right? There's no real stakes. You're just there to experience.
Even starting the game, they just show you a weird, mysterious cutscene, and then you're in it.
Yeah,
you're,
exactly.
picking up a sword and doing things.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't have
There's
to wait
no explanation
like
whatsoever. Yeah. True.
Or like a forced, railroaded tutorial. Like, this is how you do this. This is who. This is that. This is the shop. Oh, man.
You're right about that, though.
Okay, no, this is becoming a game critic.
Actually, how did we get here again? This is the question about the hack and slash idea. Yep.
Yeah, hack and slash.
Okay.
Yeah, so that will be my plan too, lah.
Okay.
To like just get straight into hack and slash. No, exposition, no padding. Yeah.
You just learn by doing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, those are the two fun questions. I always like to finish the interview with an extension to that question. Now, your fun questions are actually different from everyone else, so I haven't actually thought about what question to finish this with. And in a sense, you already kind of gave your advice about what's the best way to learn or to do anything, which is to just do. So, I've actually met a lot of people who are independent artists as well in Brunei, but they always either don't have time or they don't know where to start. Basically, this is the video game question, but translated into art, right?
I see.
So what kind of advice would you give people who are not sure where to start if they wanted to do something like this? Aside from what you already said about just starting, right? Sorry. So it is kind of overlapping, huh?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's just starting is such a general thing, right? It's such a simple thing that you can throw out, but what does it really mean for everyone else? Because you can say platitudes all you want, but if it doesn't help, so I would say most of the time you don't know where to start because you don't know where you are. So it's important to identify like what you can currently do, and that's where you start. Maybe now you can only do some sketches. You start doing sketches. And add one thing at a time, I would say, because people tend to look up a lot of things like, oh, so this tutorial, that tutorial, this popular artist has this way of coloring things. That artist does it this way. Like, it gets overwhelming.
Yep, for sure.
So at the end of the day, I guess it just it boils down to just start. But I know that is like super unhelpful and vague. So bit of housekeeping, I guess, to a bit of introspection. Know what you can do, what you cannot do, and don't get too excited. But I don't mean it like as in don't be passionate about doing art, but don't get too excited about what you can do. I'm sure you can do a lot of things, but you need to also be realistic about your ability. Because a lot of times, if you think you can do this, you can do that, but when you start doing it, you realize you're not really there, and then you'll get demotivated. But your brain, your mind won't know that it's because you don't know how to do things yet. You will just think, oh, I have art block, or I'm not motivated. But actually, you don't know how to do it yet. So you really need to think about your own skills, think about what you can do, and then really start from what you can do instead of what you want to do. Especially nowadays in like social media, there's a lot of amazing art, and we get so inspired, but we don't recognize that we cannot reach that level yet. So when we try to do something and we cannot do anything at all, like we have no idea because we don't know anything, and we think it's not for me, or like I'm not motivated, or like I don't have inspiration. So look into yourself and know what you can do. Yeah, and also don't look at too much like all those tutorials on social media. Those also are made to look amazing and easy. But in order to get there, you need a lot of layers of experience and insight. You really need to build up the knowledge. So you can watch a TikTok, like art tip. Oh, do this, don't do this. It looks so easy and it's so condensed and like packaged so well. It makes you think, hey, I can do that too. That looks easy. I understand how it works. I can do that too. But when you go and do it, you cannot. And then you get demotivated. So it all comes to knowing yourself, I guess. Yeah, just really sit down with yourself, be honest, what you can do, what you cannot do, and what you can improve next. So the next thing that you can improve, not this big project that you can do. So the next small step we can take. Yeah. So each step, I think take one step at a time. Yeah.
That's a very beautiful answer. Very similar to what I heard recently about people going to the gym. You know how like people sometimes don't want to start because they always complain, oh, I heard that if you're 5% body fat, you need to do this, and that sounds very difficult.
Yeah.
But that's for 5% body fat. You should just focus on where you're at.
True.
Which is just starting and running. It takes time, basically it'll get complicated, but it's just a slow ramp that you need to pace yourself and know where you are. So yeah, I think it's very similar to...
You have to do what you can do at the moment. Yeah, it's super similar. Because you tend to have this idea of, oh, I need the perfect program, the workout program, the perfect gym, the perfect place. Yeah. Same thing with art.
Yeah, so in your situation, it'll be the perfect brush, the perfect canvas, the perfect program.
Yeah, perfect art style. I need to find my art style. I need to find my technique. No, you have to discover it. You have to unravel it. Look into yourself, because it's so easy to consume nowadays. People forget to, look inside. I know it's very corny, very generic advice, look into yourself, know yourself. But that is true though. We really need to self-reflect and see what we can do.
That's a beautiful answer. Thank you so much, Chee Ta.
Oh, thank you.
So that's your interview. So to just close it up, I don't think we recorded the thing about the collab post, but basically Chee Ta has told me something I didn't know, that we can actually release a post in a collab to actually have it in both our pages, right? So I'll try to do that. I'll try to make the post a collab post.
Yes.
And then I will include the link to your Instagram in the caption, and also to your coffee page and your just recently opened vegan.co. Okay. So now about the HobbyFest. So we'll be at HobbyFest on the 2nd and the 3rd of December. That is 2 weeks from now. And we'll be showcasing a bunch of our game demos, as well as some projects that we've actually specifically worked on for HobbyFest. And we'll be doing it a bit more elaborate than usual. We'll be having gifts and rewards for actually playing our demo, and we'll basically gamify the whole experience of our booth. So do come down and spend some time there. We will release a special recording of me and some of the collaborators, or maybe just me if everyone's busy, basically explaining what we're gonna do in the booth. So our special flyer, which is designed by Chee Ta, which we will release soon, and also what the booth is about and what we'll be doing. Cool. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I'll be selling new merch. A new OC, actually. I think I'm in the process of making some acrylic stand, but hopefully they turn out fine. And yeah, do come to HobbyFest. You can listen to me complain about Final Fantasy 16. Yes. That's some fun stuff.
Yeah. Come down and just hang out lah.
Or if you want to prove me wrong, tell me about how Final Fantasy 16 is
great. Change my mind. Yeah. Exactly. Come down, hang out, and just talk. We'll be having a booth there. We don't really know the floor plan yet because it's not released, but once we do, we'll update again. But do come down and hang out lah. The whole booth is designed to just hang out and have fun. We won't be taking things too seriously, even though our exhibitions and stuff are there.
Yeah.
We're just here to talk to the community basically and just have fun. So yeah, I think that's it for now. So Chee Ta, thank you so much for joining me.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, very welcome. It's been a really good time talking. We'll talk more definitely after this as well.
Yeah. We should do more of these. Yeah, it's good.
For sure. Okay, so I guess I'll close it out. So, okay, that part will be cut out. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, and we will talk to you soon. And I'm gonna stop the recording literally.
Yeah.